Assalamu alaikum, guys. And today's lecture is going to be quite a typical and a very conceptual, first of all, and a rather challenging one. Okay. So I want you guys to pay close attention to this right now because we are now about to learn about variants which I talked about of the articles. All right. The variants of articles that we are going to use in every specific situation. All right. Now, starting off, the first, foremost, and the most simplest variation that we've got, the first case study that we've got is the nominative or the single object case study. All right, it is the single object case. Now, what about it? But first of all, let's discuss what do we mean by nominative, what do we mean by accusative, what do we mean by dative. You may have heard these terms thrown around. Well, we have something called cases in sentences, for example. By single object, I mean there is only one object present or one subject, no subject present in that sentence, and there is only one object in it. All right? Okay, only one object. There is no action being done. At most, only the presence of something is being set up. All right. That case is called the nominative case. All right. Now, what is the second case? Well, the second case includes a subject, you, me, he, she, they, all of them, or any of them, and it involves an object. Thirdly, it involves a verb, an action being done by the subject on the object. So, hence, by that logic, the object is the object that we're talking about has the direct relationship with the subject. Hence, it is called accusative, direct object case. All right. Later on, we'll study about dative as well, in which it is indirect objects. Indirectly, the object is related to the subject. We'll learn more about that later. Right now, we are focused on nominative and accusative in this course. Let me just write down the cases that we most normally have. We have one more, but we are going to discuss that not at the elementary level at all. Okay. So we've got nominative, we've got accusative, and we've got dative. Now let us focus on to nominative first. All right. For this video, we are only going to be discussing nominative. As you can see, I wrote down the four root verbs, the root articles that I told you about earlier. Der, die, das, and die. All right. And I have written other four categories. All right. Let's read them out. Bestimmte, definite, unbestimmte, indefinite, negative is the new thing we'll be learning, and possessive. All right. Possessive. Now, by definite, of course, we mean something specific. All right. The, of course. In English language, we use the to refer to something specific. Unbestimmt, of course, you may understand it is the complete opposite of that. And what is the opposite of the? It is a. You are not defining anything at all. It's just a general statement. A. Ein, ein, all of them stand for a. Then we've got negative, to negate something, to you know, say something is not present or something is non-existent. Like we'll be actually keine, all of these four mean not a. The one word means not a. Kind means not a, keine means not a. All right. If I say das ist keine Bleistift, that is not a pencil. I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say here. And lastly, we've got possessive. Okay, possessive. My, yours, his, hers, theirs. As you can see, mine, dein, sein, ihr, and euer. And then we've got the variations of there. Now, how do we get these variations? What are they exactly? What is the difference between them? So, starting off, we've got there, all right? For example, I say, der Bleistift, okay, the pencil. But what if I want to say a pencil? I'm going to go in the same list of, in the same column of masculine because I know that the article allocated to Bleistift is there. So I'm only going to sift through the column of masculine. I will never touch the other columns for Bleistift. All right. So if I want to say a pencil, I will say ein Bleistift. All right. Ein Bleistift. If I want to say not a pencil, I will say kein Bleistift. All right. I will say kein Bleistift. If I want to say my pencil, I will say mein Bleistift. If I want to say your pencil, I will say dein Bleistift. If I want to say his pencil, I will say sein Bleistift. And if I want to say ihr Bleistift, her Bleistift, her pencil, I will say ihr Bleistift. If I want to say their pencil, like the third party, their pencil, I will say euer Bleistift. All right. I hope that made sense. Moving on, let me give you guys another example. Now, let us think about, for example, a feminine one. We cried it. All right. Let's take the example of cried it. If I want to say the chalk, I will say we cried it. But if I want to say a chalk, I will not say ein cried it. I will say eine cried it. A chalk. Even though it both in both cases I'm saying a, but a in the der category and a in the D category are a bit different. There is a difference of E, as you can see here. There's a difference of E, ein and eine. Same here, kind and kindness. So if I want to say not a chalk, I will say keine Kreide. All right. If I want to say my chalk, I will say meine. I will say deine for yours. I will say seine for his. I will say ihre for hers. And I believe you get the point. All right. Now, if I want to say, for example, Befehlsstifte. All right. I say Befehlsstifte. I won't be looking into the feminine category. Okay. Even though you can see most of them, they're all identical. But it's better for the clear concept. We should be saying that we are looking into the plural category. Why? Befehlsstifte. Color pens. Plural. Okay. So I say the color pens. Okay. Befehlsstifte. But think for a second. Can I say a color pens? Okay, or for example, let me shift to the Farbig shifted. I can say the color pencils. It makes sense. But can I say a color pencils? Doesn't make sense. That is why this space is blank because in plural you cannot have a. All right. I hope that that was clear. Then we've got. Sorry about that. Then we've got not a. All right. They are not color pencils. They can stand for not and not a both, in both cases. All right. It is keine Farbstifte, not color pencils. Meine Farbstifte, my color pencils. Deine Farbstifte, your color pencils. I hope that that was clear. And that's all for now. Don't fret if you're not able to understand the concept fully for now. Once we learn verb conjugations and once we dive deeper into everything, you'll be able to understand it a whole lot better. Okay? But I hope this gave you a good introduction towards Somita.